Hi there, everybody. It's time for our Spring Bunny art class. Let me get connected here on Facebook so I can see everybody here. How are you guys doing? Hop on and say hello. Tell me who's here as we wait for everybody to come on into the class. Here we go. Let's see. I've got my computer here so I can see who's joining me today and see your comments. Here we go. All right. Okay. So today we're going to do the Spring Bunny art class. And I hope you guys have done all your tracers and gotten everything ready. This is one of them, and this is actually the tracer that I used. I did the one with the little eggs on the bottom. And I tried to do a video yesterday to show how to use a pencil. You print it out on copy paper, then you use a pencil, a graphite regular number 2 pencil, and you put the graphite on the back, see that, like that, and then you lay it down on your surface and trace on top of it, and it makes a tracing pattern without having to use the carbon paper. So I hope you were able to do that and get your image traced out on your surface. And then I took a permanent marker and went over my lines because I wanted to have a little bit of an outline that shines through the paint and makes it easier. I don't lose my lines. So this is what I'm going to be starting out with, and you can do that too if you're watching this after the class. You can do this before you go forward. So we're going to just get started here, and I'm going to start with the background. I did put the colors on the event page, but you can just look at the image and choose colors that you have, that you like, that are similar. For the background, I'm going to be using this pretty blue Caribbean color, or Caribbean, depending on how you say it. And I'm just going to tilt the screen down here so you can see what I'm painting. Tilt it down like that so you can see clearly what we're doing. There we go. All right. So if you're watching, give me say hello, give me a thumbs up, or say hi, tell me who you are, who's going to be on here painting with me. Maybe tell me where you're from. I'm from Florida. I was born here. I'm one of the natives. And every time I tell people that, oh, you don't hear that very often, because Florida is, you know, kind of a catch-all state. A lot of people come here from other places, but I was lucky enough to be born here. And several generations in my family have been born here. I've been here a long time. I'm from the Central Florida area, and it's really nice because we get to live in the middle of the state, and so we are able to travel to both coasts quite easily to go to the different beaches and the different parks and places to see our beautiful state. Are any of you guys from Florida? If not, have you been to Florida? Have you come and visited our beautiful state? We have so many beautiful things to see here. One of the things that Florida is known for, of course, is the beaches, but also we have a lot of beautiful springs here in Florida. A lot of people don't know about the springs, and they don't visit the springs as much as they do the beaches, but we have over 700 natural springs in Florida, and they're great places to go swimming and enjoy the nature, you know, with the walking trails and picnic areas. So if you do come and visit Florida to go to the beaches, make sure you check out some of our beautiful springs too, because it's quite stunning to see the natural water coming up out of the earth and how beautiful it is when it flows down the river. We have a lot of famous springs. Of course, one of the most famous is the Weeki Wachee, where the mermaids swim, and they put on the shows on a regular basis there with the mermaids. So anyway, just filling in my background color here. I'm going to do this relatively quickly. We can always go back over it and make it darker. I just want to get a nice coating here. I'm going to come back in and do these smaller areas with a smaller brush. Right now I'm just working in the larger areas. And I'm using these brushes that one of my artist friends told me about. They're hard to come by right now because everybody's ordering merchandise online so they can do stuff at home, but these are triangle shaped brushes. I don't know if you can see the end of that. Yeah, there, I can show you. It's a triangle shaped brush, and it gives you a really good control. It's actually a kid's art brush, and they come in different sizes and shapes in a kit. I picked it up at Walmart, and it really is good for these kinds of craft painting, because it gives you a nice grip, and the bristles on the brush take a good bit of use. Like, you know, I can leave it in the water for a couple of hours and it doesn't ruin. The bristles don't bend and get ruined, and they seem to last a really long time. So if you have a chance, if you're looking for some new craft brushes, that might be something you consider picking up. So let's just get this background here all filled in. And if you're watching this after the live video feed, just so you know, all of the tracer and pictures are on the event page and in the comments on my Facebook page. I put the tracer images there so you can download it, and then you can trace it out onto your canvas or onto your surface, depending on what you want to paint on. You can do this with watercolor even. You could do this with watercolor paper and watercolor paints if you wanted to. Alright, let's get this background finished here so we can move on to the flowers and the bunny. And I decided to do this today because our Easter celebrations this year are not going to be quite the same. You know, we're not going to be able to gather with our families, and we're not going to be able to have the festivities that we normally do. So I thought, well, maybe some of my friends and family would enjoy painting a cute little Easter bunny, and maybe it would help cheer us up and inspire us to think about the better days that are coming ahead. You know, I teach and create art that inspires. That's what I love to do. And I hope today that my little painting inspires a little bit of hope in you for what's going to be coming in the future. You know, after we get released from this quarantine and we get over this pandemic, we can look forward to new growth and new relationships and just a new way of life. We're learning lots of things from this. I think a lot more people are thinking about how, I know me personally, I guess I should just speak for myself personally, how much I took for granted. And how this has changed me personally. And I can't wait to get back together with my family and my friends and maybe hug a little bit longer and laugh a little bit louder and love a little bit harder. You know, I can love everybody from afar, of course. You know, I have a whole slew of kids, and I have my granddaughter Rose, which I talk to every day on Facebook, or not Facebook, FaceTime. Well, it is on Facebook Messenger. And, you know, I can't wait till I am able to squeeze her again. But I don't know, this whole being shut in and having time for all this contemplation, it's really changed me. And I'm going to use this time to do some spring cleaning in my house, of course, like most of us are doing, but also some spring cleaning in my heart. I've decided that, I was just telling Dale this yesterday. Dale is my fiance. I was telling him, you know, I've decided that I'm not going to do anything that doesn't bring me joy. Well, let me spin that around. Let me put that in a positive light. I'm only going to do things that bring me joy. And painting is, of course, one of the things that brings me joy. Reading brings me joy. I love cooking. I love trying new recipes and making new things. I love my family, of course. I love spending time with my family. But what are some of the things that you love? What are some of the things that bring you joy? What are you doing right now to fill your time and fill your heart with joy during this quarantine? You guys trying out new recipes? Trying out an art class if you're here painting with me. Alright, so I've got the background filled in, first coat. We'll just call this first coat because it looks like it's going to need another coat. Go back over it a little bit here. Some of these areas I didn't get it thick enough. And maybe I'll go back over it after I'm done. I don't like how watery this looks, so let me put another coat here because the first coat's already dry. Make this a little bit darker. You see I switched to a smaller brush so I can get in these little spots here. But as we paint this, we're going to be painting over a lot of these lines because I want it to have that, I don't want it to be crisp and clean. I want it to have a little bit of that messy look. I like the impressionistic messy look. That's why I do a lot of mixed media, because I like to play with the paint, not perfect it. I'm going to be doing some mixed media classes on here soon, and doing some live video of some mixed media projects I'm going to be working on here with some inspirational art. Alright, get this section over here. You notice I twist and turn my canvas a lot. I don't paint on an easel very often, only when I'm doing larger pieces, because I like to move the canvas a lot. I'm not worrying about the sides on this right now. I might do like a black outline on the sides, but I'm going to finish all of the colors on here first before I decide what I'm going to do on the sides, because I didn't wrap the design around the sides, so I'm probably going to have to put a solid color around it. Alright, that looks like a good first coat. for our background. Okay, now I'm going to work on the flowers because I want this part here to dry before I, start working here, because I don't want my hand to sit down on the blue paint. So I'm going to work on the flowers going around the edge and the green. Okay, so on the flowers, you can paint them any color you like. You just what I recommend is that you use a darker color, like a darker yellow and a lighter yellow, or a darker pink and a lighter pink. And then on the center, you can use a white or a yellow, depending on what you want the center of your flowers to be. So you can use a darker orange, a lighter orange. I'm probably going to use those 3 combinations for mine. So I'm going to start with a fuchsia type color, the darker pink. And then I'm going to use a lighter pink for my accent. Just use whatever you have. If you want to buy specific colors for this painting, they are listed on the event page. You click on the ticket link, it'll take you to the landing page that shows all of the colors. Okay, so I'm going to do a dark pink, larger flower on each one of these clusters, and I'm going to start with my darker color on the outside, my dark pink. See? And you're basically, I need to add a little white here to my palette because we're going to be blending in a little bit of white. Now these types of flowers are just simple. You're just going to blend the paint on with your colors here. So I'm going to take a little bit of the light pink on my brush with the dark pink. Let's see if you can see that there. And I'm just going to fill it in. And it's okay if I go over these lines a little bit because, like I said, this is kind of an impressionistic painting. It's not perfection. We're just going to fill this in just like you would color it in with a crayon. Dark pink and a light pink. And I've got a little bit of both on there. Got a little bit of texture to it. Okay, can you see? A little bit of dark pink, a little bit of light pink. I'm going to do the same thing up here. Get a little bit of light pink on there too. Dark pink and light pink. And just filling that in. Take a little bit of light pink highlight. You can even take a little bit of white. Can you see that? A little bit of white on there. And you're just blending the colors. I'm going to do the same up here. I'm going to choose maybe not the largest one, maybe the second largest one. A little bit of the dark pink. Oh, wrong one. This one. Add a little bit of the light pink to it. So I've got both colors on my brush, and and it does tend to blend together a little bit, so I'm going to go back over that. A little bit of dark pink. So I don't really want it to be a solid color. I'm going to take the light pink and go around it. Maybe a touch of white. There we go. Can you see that there? Hi, Patricia. Hi, Tanya. I'm glad you're here with me. Okay. So I'm also going to do, let's see, I'm going to have pink, orange, and yellow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to do another dark pink flower here. I'm going to do the smaller one here with the dark pink. So I'll have 2 of each. I'll have 2 dark pink, 2 orange, and 2 yellow. There we go. I'm going to do my little one down here as well. Just get that on there. Okay. And I think I'm going to do this one here as well. Add a little bit of the light pink. Okay. Let's see. There we go. All right, now on the center, that's going to be primarily the light pink. So do not wash your brush. I forgot to get my paper towel here. Hang on a second. Grab my paper towels. You're going to want to take a paper towel and just wipe the excess off. Okay? Just pull the excess paint off. And then we're going to go back in and we're going to paint the center ring with the light pink. Let's get a good fair coating in there. Like that. And then take a touch of the dark pink and blend it in. See? Light pink in the center. And then a touch of the dark pink on the brush. I'm going to wipe it off again because now I've got it muddied up a little bit, so I'm going to wipe that off again with my paper towel. And I'm going to take the light pink and work on this inner part here. And it's okay if you go over the lines in the center because we're going to put those back in either with white or yellow, depending on what you choose. Then I'm going to touch of the dark pink and just highlight it. See? Like that. All right. And same thing down here. Just fill that all in with the light pink. And then add a touch of the dark. Okay. So now that we've done our pink flowers, I'm going to choose, I'm going to use white for my center, and I'm just going to touch it, dab it, dab, dab, dab. That's what I want. I'm going to do a little dab, dab, dab. I'm not brushing it on, I'm pouncing my brush on there, dab, 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 in a little bit of a circular motion, just to give a pop of color right in the center. For the flower. You see? There we go. Okay. Those are our pink flowers. Now, let's move on to another color. And for that, I'm going to use the dark orange and the light orange. You don't need much, just a tiny bit of paint. Save your paint. You don't need much. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to start out with the darker color. I did rinse my brush in between the colors. You can rinse your brush now and have a clean brush. You're going to load it up with the darker pink or the darker orange. And I'm going to go to the next biggest flower here. And this is quite a bit darker than what I want. I'm going to lighten it up with the light orange in just a minute. I'm just getting the base coat on. kind of a messy, just a messy flower paint. And then I'm going to touch my brush into the lighter orange, and I'm going to go over this a little bit and hit it with some of the lighter orange color. I'll show you. See the two orange colors on there? Wiping my brush off again, and then going to the dark orange. I'm going to do the smaller flower up here. And then add some of the light orange to it. I'm going to go ahead and paint the center of this one with the lighter orange since I've got it on my brush already. And go back and do this one as well. What paints do I recommend? Patricia's asking. I use a variety of paints, to be honest with you. I like the deco art because I like how thick they are. I also like Ceramcoat. For different projects, I use different types of paint. If I'm painting on wood doing my door hangers, I actually use the apple barrel paints, these here, because these work really well on the MDF board and the wood. On canvas, I really love, if I'm doing a fine art project, I use Liquitex and Ceramcoat and just a variety. These particular colors that I put for the list are from the Deco Art collection for this project. So as you paint and you're working on different surfaces, you'll be able to see what works best for you and what you feel moves about the surface the best, because some paints have more water in them than others. Some paints have more pigment than others, and it really does depend on what project you're working on as to what type of paint you want for that project. That's a great question, Patricia. Thank you. Alright, so I'm putting my darker orange on the outside here. Now I'm going to pick up the lighter orange and pop in a few highlights here and there. And I'm just loading it up on the brush, and I'm kind of going around the petal shape with that lighter color. And then I'm going to wipe off the brush and pick up that lighter orange color to do the center. So it gives it a little bit of dimension. And of course we're going to fill that center with white. You see a simple two-tone flower. And I think I want this one to be yellow, so I'm not going to paint that, but I do need to pick another one up here, and I don't want to do orange here. So, but then those two will be yellow, yellow. Let's see. Maybe I'll do this one in reverse and do the lighter orange on the outside. I should have done that one pink. Well, let's see here. I do that one yellow. All right. Well, the two orange are going to have to be next to each other because I messed that up. That's okay. We'll just do a lighter orange on the outside here. Give it a little bit of contrast. It's fun art, not fine art, right? And we'll do the opposite. We'll put a darker center. A little bit of highlight here, so it's not just one color. All right. That'll be okay. All right, there we go with our orange flowers. Now we're going to move on to the yellow. We're moving right along here. So we're going to need 2 tones of yellow. I'm going to get a darker yellow here. Let's see what I've got. I'm going to try cad yellow, and I don't like that one. There we go. Bright yellow. It's kind of a light lemon yellow and a cad yellow. Hi there, Wendy. Well, that's okay. Wendy had to go to the doctor. She missed the first part of the class. That's okay, Wendy. Thank you for joining in. You can watch and see what we're doing, and then paint it later when you have a chance, if you like. I appreciate you being on here. Wendy took the class that we did the other day with the sunrise, and that was a lot of fun. It came out really nice. Okay, so we're doing the same thing with the flowers. We're going to use the darker yellow first. Put that in here. And these, the 2 yellows, it might not show up too much. I might have to add some white, but we're going to give it a go. We're going to try it out. Try a little bit of the lighter yellow. Yeah, it's not showing up. Okay, so we're going to use the darker yellow and maybe just some white highlight. Let's see if the white shows up. Yeah. All right. Maybe we'll put the lighter yellow in the center here. It's not showing up too good either, but let's see if we can doctor it up with these colors. That's not too bad. Alright, so the darker yellow that I'm using is cad yellow. And I grabbed one of my Liquitex paints, but they have made cad yellow in other paint colors as well. Decor has one. So let's do this little one down here. Can you see? Alright. I'm just gonna pop in the darker yellow here. Actually, I'm just gonna go ahead and fill this one in since it's a little one. And then I'm going to take a little bit of white and highlight it so it's not all one color. And I'm going to do the center white. We didn't do the center on our orange flowers. We'll do that in a minute. Wiping off my brush, picking up my darker yellow again. I'll do this little flower here and this one up here. Darker yellow, cad yellow, I'm just brushing it on, not worrying about the lines, just getting it on there, and then I'm going to pick up some of that lighter yellow, try that here in the center. Yeah, see, you can't really see it, so let's just use white. I'll hold this up so you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just going to take the white, I've got it loaded on the brush there. I don't know if that's focusing or not, but anyway, just a little bit of white here. And hold that where you can see it. I'm just going to hit a little highlight. See that? Like that. Just where the outer edges of the petal would be. And then I'm going to take a little bit of white and pounce, 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 pounce right in the center. Okay? Alright. I'm going to do the same thing up here with these darker yellow. Filling it in. You know, one of the things that I'm trying to do with this painting is making it fun and easy so you don't stress out too much about getting the color on the canvas and finishing a painting, you know, just having fun with it. The idea is just that we are unplugging from everything that's going on today and just enjoying the color, enjoying the fun of painting. One of the things I love when I'm painting is that I get lost in the flow, and I start really getting into a painting or a piece, and before you know it, a couple of hours have gone by and I don't even realize it because I'm so much in the zone of my painting or my piece that I really just kind of check out of the world for a while. Do you guys ever experience that when you're working on a project, or you know, something that you're doing at home and that you love, and then before you know it, you know, a couple hours have gone by and you're like, oh my goodness, where'd the time go? Because you're zoned into what you're doing and your whole heart, mind, and soul is there. All right, so we need to go back in and put the white in the centers of the ones we haven't done yet. So I'm going to pounce, pounce, pounce on those center pieces. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Make sure all of your flowers have centers. And you can do that in yellow if you don't want to do it in white, that's fine. All right, washing out my brush now. And we're going to do the leaves. And then we'll do our bunny and our eggs. And we are moving right along here. Okay, same thing with the leaves. We're going to use two colors. I have chosen, this particular is apple barrel spring green. And this was one of my favorite colors, Ceram Coat Kelly green. Basically, you just want two different tones, a lighter and a darker of green. So use what you have, and if you only have one shade of green, you can use it and just lighten it up with a little bit of white to do your lighter color, as long as you have two tones. All right, got my tones on the palette. And this is, we're going to do a little bit of the same. We're going to do a darker tone and highlight it with a lighter tone. So I'm going to start right here with these two leaves, and I'm going to start with the darker green. Loading up my brush, darker green, and I'm just going to follow along this outline, filling it in my darker green tone. And this one. And then I'm going to take, while my brush still has the darker green on it, I'm going to take a little bit of that lighter green with the darker green. You see that? And I'm going to just add some of that lighter green to the center. Just this little strokes. I'm doing strokes in the same shape as the leaf. You see that? With the two tones together there. I'm going to wipe off my brush because now I've muddied up my colors. Start with my darker green, fill in the shape. And again, it's okay if you go over the black. Don't worry about it. We want to do that anyway because you don't want it to look completely outlined. Alright, darker green and lighter green on my brush, and I'm just going to do some highlight strokes so that it's two-toned. I'm just going to keep going all the way around. Wiping off the brush, doing the same thing. Dark green. And you could just go all the way around and do the dark green first, and then come back and do all the light green, but you have to work pretty quick because you want to do it while it's still wet so the colors blend together. So I'm doing it in these little groups here instead of going all the way around for today. Lighter green. And I'm going to show you. It's okay if you build up the paint a little bit like that. See those colors there? Oh, I forgot to wipe my brush. And I just keep my paper towel in my hand so I can wipe it off each time. Moving back to the darker green, filling this in. Where are you guys from? I see some of you have joined us. Maybe you can tell me. Are you guys native Floridians too? I was born and raised here. Are you guys artists? Do you do art regularly? Are you painters? Are you crafters? What do you guys do to make your heart happy? All right, got the dark green up here. Now I'm going to take the light green and hit these little leaves with a little bit of extra color. And I might come back and add some white to these later. I'm going to see how they dry. See if it gives it enough variation. If not, I might add some white to that. Alright, two more here. And again, if you're just joining me, I shared earlier that I'm not worrying about the sides of this painting right now. I'm going to have to go back and add one solid color all the way around, probably black, but I'm not worried about that right now. So I'm gonna add some of this lighter green here. Yeah, I think I might add a pop of white in these. Let's see how a little touch of white goes. Oh yeah, that looks much better. That gives it a little definition. Not too much, just a little bit. Oh, I like that a lot better. And I just one little stroke, very lightly, with just a dash of white on there. Tiny bit. Oh, can't see it on that one. Let's add a little bit more. Little tiny touches of white. Okay. Like that. Oh, let's turn it right side up. Okay. Our flowers are looking good. Our leaves are shining. Oh, Patricia says she's always wanted to learn how to paint. Well, Patricia, I'm your girl. I'll teach you. Teach you everything I know about painting. And she loves gardening and reading. Yes, she shares books with me all the time. Which I still haven't read the last book that you shared with me. So I don't know what my excuse is. I'm at home a lot. I could just read all day long if I wanted to. But I've been working a lot on my business, so I haven't read the book, but I will. I'll get to it. Okay, guys, our bunny's looking good here. We're going to do the Easter eggs last, so let's get on with the bunny. And the bunny has two tones on him too. What we're going to use to tone the bunny, you can use a little bit of gray. I didn't put that on the color list, but if you'll look on the original painting here, this has some color tone to it in here. You can use dark blue, just a touch of blue, which gives it this shadow color, which I think we're going to do because I have blue out here. And we're going to use blue for if you're doing the one with the bow tie, you've already got a little bit of blue. So we're going to put a touch of blue in the white paint to give it a little highlight. Because again, you don't want it to be just flat. You want to have a little bit of accent to it. So let's get some white paint for our bunny. And you can use a drop of black if you want to make it a gray to mix in with your white, or if you have a gray, you can use that to blend with your white, or you can make a tiny bit of highlight color with a drop of blue paint, a dark blue, which I'm using a true blue color. And I'm going to mix it up on my palette first, a little bit here, so that I don't have to tone it as I paint. So I'm taking a little drop of blue, my little drop of blue, and I'm going to, I guess I could show you here. Let me put some white over here by this. I don't want it to be, but just a little bit darker. You don't want 2 or 3 or 10 shades darker, just a little bit to give it some dimension. That's not going to be enough. I'll get some more here. Okay, mix this up. Dark enough. I think I need another drop of blue. I don't want it too dark because I don't want it to look like he's, dirty or muddy. But there has to be a tonal difference between the two. All right. So that looks like a pretty good contrast between the white and the blue here. Okay, so what we're going to do is start with this darker color, and we're going to then go over it with the white. All right, so just start painting in your ears here. You've got it on your brush already with the darker color. Let's paint it in. The center part's going to be a pretty pink color, so we're going to work around that. And we're going to blend these together, so we're going to work pretty quickly because you want to do this before it dries. Get your darker color, your tonal. Low light. It's not a highlight, it's a low light. On here as work as quickly as you can so that you can come back and do your white highlights. These bunnies can be so cute when we're all done. Okay, now in the center I'm going to work in a circular pattern and then come back and do all the facial features. So I'm literally just going to go in a circular pattern. Get some more of my paint. Circular pattern. Round and around. Let's get it on there. Get a good coating. Gotta move quick. So when I do this while it's wet, I'm going to come back and add the white on top. Right along that edge. There we go. It's okay if you go over those lines, don't forget. And same on the body. Let's get that paint on there. You might want to grab a smaller brush to do these little places where the flowers are. I'm just going to do a downstroke here. Oop. Oh, I got some orange paint on there. I'll have to go back and fix that. I'm going to go around my Easter eggs here real quick. There we go. Okay, now we've got our background, our low light on here. Now we're going to take some white, and you're going to do this again. It's going to be kind of a quick and easy messy stroke. Load up your brush with some white, and then I'm going to tap 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 to get the major excess part off, and we're just going to go over this with the white. See that? Like that? Oh, hold it up. We're going to do a second coat on this after it dries. Grab your paper towel. If it gets muddy, wipe off all that dark low light color and go back to just the white. I'm just going to go right over that. This is first coat of the white. We're going to do it twice. Okay, and then we're going to go around the edge here. Let me hold it where you can see. Around the edge. So we're doing these highlights on the outer part of the bunny, giving them a little bit of dimension. Oh, look what I did. I went over the line a little bit too much there. Let me fix that. I'll show you a little trick. I take a clean brush, dipped in water, and I just erase it. Push that paint back up. A little bit of water on the brush. and erase it. All done. It's a quick, easy fix. Okay, let's go around, give the bunny some white highlights here. And you're going to want to blend that in a little bit. You don't want it to be, you know, super globby or anything like that. So I'm going to blend that white paint around. Kind of a circular pattern here because you want the face to be round. And then on the body, I'm going to take the white paint. I'm just going to, and I did it here too. Okay, I'm going to clean that up just a second. Do my strokes going down. Give it some form to the body. Just doing down strokes with the white. Taking a clean brush. I'm glad I'm making these mistakes here so I can show you how to fix them. Taking a clean brush with a little bit of water on it, and I'm going to just pull that off. There we go. Fixed it. Easy peasy. All right. Now we don't want the bunny to be completely blue, so we're going to come back over this and do a little bit of white finishing strokes after we do the eggs and the face and all that. But this looks pretty good. Okay, we're going to put some more white on it in just a little bit. Let's go ahead and let's clean our brush now. Let that dry. We're going to do our pink ears and our facial features and our eggs, and then we'll come back and finish off the bunny and we'll be all done. So I'm going to use the dark and the light pink that we used for the flowers earlier, and just going to put a little bit of dark pink on my brush. I'm going to fill in this with some dark pink and some light pink, and I've got them both on the brush. Just going to blend that in. You see? And we'll do the same thing over here. Dark pink on one side. And then I'm dipping into the light pink and doing this side. And then blending them in the middle. Fix this line. I'm going to use the same technique for the nose. I'll wipe my brush off and do dark pink first on this side. You see? A little bit of dark pink on this side. I'm dipping my brush into the light pink. I'm going to do a light pink on this side. I'm blending them in the middle. And I want to bring that dark pink over a little bit more, so I'm going to grab a little bit of dark pink here and go back over, and then I'm going to highlight it with a little bit of white because we want the nose to pop. So I'm wiped off my brush. I didn't rinse it, I just wiped it off, and I'm grabbing a little bit of white, and I'm just going to do a little mark there. Okay, now I'm going to fill in the eyes and the outline here with blue. And I've got my true blue color here. That's what I'm going to be using. The same one that I used for the background. Put a little blue on my palette here. And I'm going to add a little bit of water to my blue because I want it to be thin enough to where I can move it around easily, especially on these outlines. You don't want it to be a globby paint. It makes it too hard to move it around. And I'm going to use a round brush. This is a round tip brush for this technique because that's the easiest way to get these lines filled in for me. That's what I like to use. So I've got my true blue color and I'm just going to fill in the eyes here. And if you're using a pigment paint, you should be able to get this in one coat, which is what I'm using. I'm using a Folk Art True Blue. It has a lot of pigment in it, so I don't have to go over the eyes again and again. There's enough pigment in this paint to cover it. Just being a little bit more careful with the eyes because I don't want them to be looking too messy. I want them to be cute. A cute little bunny. Hi there, Shaylin. Shaylin has joined us. Shaylin is one of my girls. She's one of my daughters. I got 4 daughters. She's one of my girls. She lives up in Virginia. 4 girls and 3 boys. And I love them all dearly. Okay, got our little eyes on there. And now let's do our little whiskers. Now what you're going to do is when you're loading your brush to do outlines like this, you're going to twist the brush and pull out so that you get this point, because you need the point on your brush to be able to do these lines. And then I'm just going to follow our little lines that we have here that we made. I need to do that again. Twist and pull. You probably need to reload it each time for these whiskers. Twist and pull. And I like to move left to right. If you're watching this, you're watching it in reverse. I'm not left-handed, I'm right-handed, but I'm using the reverse camera on the phone. But most people are right-handed, and we tend to write our letters. Well, we don't tend to, we do write our letters to the right. So when you're painting, your arm has that muscle memory. So when you're doing lines like this, it's easier to follow that same muscle memory than to try and pull it going the opposite direction. So I always turn my canvas so that I can do the same stroke as if I were writing it. I am pulling the stroke the same way I would use a pencil. Reloading the brush each time so that I don't run out of paint. There we go. Alright. I'm adding a little bit more water. Now we're going to do the smiley face part of our little bunny here. Again, rolling your brush, pulling it to a point, pulling it to the tip. Ooh, paint on my shirt. And we're going to just follow our line. I'm going to turn it. A little bit of jaggedy there. I'll fix that. There we go. Same thing. I'm going to turn it around so I can go to the right. because that's what my hand is used to doing. You can also do this part with paint markers. If you have paint markers in a variety of colors, you can grab a blue paint marker and do your outlining that way. That's just like coloring when you use a paint marker. Okay, here's our cute little bunny face. Got him on there. And now the last thing that we have to do is decorate our Easter eggs. And we'll be done. So I'm going to use a lot of the same colors that we've already chosen. Rinse out my brushes here real quick. And we're going to decorate our little Easter eggs. And I didn't paint them. I guess we could paint them white. Let me grab a little bit of coffee here. I kind of want to paint them colors and then decorate them. So maybe I'll do that. Let's paint it pink. And then I'm going to put some polka dots or something on it. For this one. And of course I'll leave I think I'll leave I'm going to paint it white because I want it to have a background color. Paint this one white and I'm going to do some decorating on it. Same with this one. I don't want it to be raw canvas, so I'm going to go ahead and fill it in with a white paint. And then I'm going to paint this one. I'm going to do the bottom half yellow. Let me do a little zigzag here. You can decorate them however you like. I'm just playing around here with some ideas. I'll paint that one like that. And maybe I'll do the top part white. And then I'm going to do a little bit of decorating on there. Alright, I'm going to let that dry, and while that's drying, I'm going to go back and add some more white up here to my bunny. Because remember we said that we were going to come back and add some more highlights to our bunny. So I'm going to, it's all dry, and I want it to have that brush stroke look to it. So I'm just taking white on my brush, and I'm just adding some more brush strokes. It's not nothing, you know, not thinking about it too much. I'm just kind of hitting it here and there. Same around his face. Now I'm going to be careful not to get it on my designs that I've already done. I'm just doing a little bit of highlight here. A little bit down here. There we go. Do that with our bunny. Okay. Alright. I'm going to take the bottom of a brush. I'm going to make some polka dots by just dipping it into my paint here. I'm going to do polka dots on this one. And when I do polka dots, I do them in a triangle pattern because that's the most common way that you see them. There, little one there. There we go. Our little polka dots. All right, and maybe we'll do some stripes. Do some stripes on this one here with our little green color. There we go. And I think I'm going to do a little outline here. Give that a little bit of definition. Oh goodness, let me fix this right here. Oh, I messed up my polka dots. My hand touched it. Get my eraser out here. Just like we did on the other part, we just have to erase it and put the pink back on there, and then do a couple more polka dots. Yeah, it doesn't want to stick because the paint's too wet. Take that off. We'll wait for it to dry, and then we'll put a polka dot back there. Just gotta give it a minute. It's too wet. Okay. And what are we gonna do with this last one? Let's do a lighter orange color. Maybe we'll do a little gingham pattern. Let's see. Be careful not to touch the other colors. Now if you're doing this at home, you can take your time, let it dry in between so you don't mess it up like I did. But I gotta finish this so I can share this with you guys. Just do a little bit of a checker pattern here. There we go. All right, that's cute. All right, let's put this polka dot back on here. There we go. Okay, and that does it. Well, let's see, one more thing I want to do. I'm going to put some little yellow polka dots up here, because I don't like how empty this is. There we go. Cute. Okay. Hi, Linda. Would you please go over how you started? Yes, I sure will. And I'm going to post this so you can watch this later at your leisure. This will be on my videos here on Facebook Live. So there's our bunny. Isn't she or he cute? Depending on, I don't know. I think it's a she. It came out really pretty. Let me turn this back up. Hi there. Hi guys. I'm Danita Lynn. If you're just joining. This camera arm is a little bit hard to operate. Hold on. Move this up. I'm not used to this live Facebook thing yet. I'm going to master it. I am going to master it because I'm going to be doing a lot of these. Okay. So, again, I'm Danita Lynn. I teach and create art that inspires, and I hope that I have inspired you today to try something fun and cute and springy. This is my spring bunny Easter painting, and you can kind of keep it up for a while. It doesn't have to be just for Easter. I know it has Easter eggs on it, but anyway, the tracer for this is on my event page, and it's in the comments on my Danita Lynn Art Facebook page, so you can trace it out. What I recommend, again, is that you, if you don't have carbon paper or trace paper, that you pick the tracer that you want. There's 3 to choose from, and you print it on regular copy paper. Then on the back, you use a regular graphite pencil, and you put the graphite all over the lines on the back, so it makes a nice graphite mark. Then you lay that on your surface, depending on what you're using to paint with, and whether it's watercolor paper, acrylic paper, a journal book, whatever, and you tape it down, and then you take your pen or your pencil and you go over the top of it, and it puts the trace onto your surface, and then you can paint with it. What I also did was I outlined it, after I used the pencil, I outlined it with a permanent Sharpie marker so that it was easier to see, and the lines didn't fade out when I painted over it like they would with pencil. So anyway, this is our spring bunny, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. It was kind of relaxing, and it's so cute, and I love the color. And you can go back in and add another layer on your background if you like, because it's not completely solid. I can see that here in the camera, but it's a fun painting. It's not fine art, it's fun art, and just enjoy and have a good time with it. And I hope that it inspires you to look forward to things to come. And I thank you for joining me here today. And I'm going to be posting some more things, so follow my page so that you can stay up to date for all of my classes that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing a vintage camper painting, a teepee, some farm animals. I've got lots of things coming. So I hope to see you in another class, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.